You trust the flow of global trade every single day. Your morning coffee, your smartphone, even the clothes on your back. They likely pass through a narrow engineering marvel in Central America, the Panama Canal. This 50-mile shortcut connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. It shaves weeks off sea voyages. It saves fuel, time, and money for the entire world. But what if I told you this triumph was nearly killed? Not by mountains, not by floods or landslides, but by mosquitoes. Insects so small you can crush them with your fingers. This is the hidden story of how the Panama Canal almost died before it could change the world. The story starts with ambition that had already succeeded once. Ferdinand de Lesseps, the French engineer behind the Suez Canal. He saw Panama as his next conquest. In 1881, his company began work. A sea-level canal. A straight cut from ocean to ocean. Workers flooded in, engineers, diggers, people from Europe, the Caribbean, and beyond. They attacked the jungle with sheer determination. But almost immediately, death stalked the camps. Men woke with high fevers. Skin turned jaundiced, a sickly yellow. Internal bleeding led to black vomit. This was yellow fever. Others suffered malaria's brutal cycle. Chills, sweats, exhaustion. Hospitals at Ancon filled rapidly. Death rates were horrifying. Many wards lost 3/4 of their patients. The French engineers were baffled. They blamed bad air or decaying vegetation, the old miasma theory. They didn't connect it to the swarms of mosquitoes, breeding in standing water everywhere, construction pits, household containers. Without knowing the true enemy, their efforts were futile. The project dragged on for 8 years. Over 22,000 workers perished, a loss large enough to empty several mid-sized towns. The company went bankrupt in 1889. Only about 11 miles of canal had been dug. The dream lay in ruins, largely because of a foe too small to see as the threat it was. 15 years later, the United States stepped in. In 1904, under President Theodore Roosevelt, America acquired the rights and the French equipment. The goal was clear: build the canal, Project American Power and Commerce. But the same deadly conditions awaited. Colonel William C. Gorgas, a U.S. Army surgeon, took charge as chief sanitary officer. He had already wiped out yellow fever in Havana after the Spanish-American War. Gorgas brought crucial knowledge. Cuban doctor Carlos Finlay had long proposed mosquitoes transmit yellow fever. Walter Reed's U.S. Army Commission confirmed it in 1900 with careful experiments. The Aedes aegypti mosquito carries the virus. It breeds in small amounts of clean water around human dwellings. A forgotten barrel, a plant saucer. Like a flying hypodermic needle, it picks up the virus from one person and delivers it to the next. Malaria came from Anopheles mosquitoes, breeding in larger natural wetlands. Gorgas wanted to target these carriers directly. Initial support was lukewarm. Some officials preferred traditional cleaning methods. They questioned the cost. Then came the crisis of 1905. Yellow fever hit the American workforce. Cases rose rapidly. Skilled men began leaving in droves. The project teetered on the edge of abandonment, echoing the French disaster. But here is where the story takes its pivotal turn. New chief engineer John Stevens, a railroad expert, recognized sanitation as the real priority. He gave Gorgas full backing. He helped convince Roosevelt to provide complete support and funding. The war on mosquitoes was on. Gorgas mobilized thousands of men into sanitation brigades. They divided the entire canal zone into districts. Inspectors scoured every house, every camp, every puddle. Swamps were drained with miles of ditches. Brush was cleared back. Oil was spread on inescapable water, 700,000 gallons of it, creating a thin film that stopped larvae from breathing at the surface. It was like sealing off their lifeline, forever. Homes and barracks got tight window screens, door screens, turning living quarters into fortresses. Beds had mosquito nets. Piped water systems replaced open barrels. Perfect nurseries no more. Sick patients were isolated in specially screened fever cages. Mosquitoes could not bite them and spread the disease further. Buildings were fumigated with sulfur or pyrethrum smoke to kill adult insects. The effort was relentless, daily, microscopic, engineering applied to the tiniest details of the environment. Most people stop the story here and think the battle was won by medicine alone. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. This was engineering, as much as medicine. Gorgas treated the entire isthmus like one giant machine. Its hidden weak point, the mosquito breeding cycle. Break that cycle, and the whole project could run. The results came faster than anyone expected. By the close of 1906, yellow fever was eradicated from the canal zone. Only one case reported that year, none after. Malaria cases dropped sharply, too. A stable, healthy workforce swelled to more than 40,000 at its peak. Now the real construction could surge forward without constant loss of manpower. Engineers blasted and hauled away millions of cubic yards at the Culebra Cut. They built the enormous Gatun Dam to create a vast artificial lake. They poured concrete for massive locks that would lift ships 85 feet. That's the height of an 8-story building, using gravity and water alone. Dredges cleared the channels. By 1913, the waterway was essentially finished. On August 15, 1914, the steamship Ancon made the first official transit. The Panama Canal was open for business, ahead of the original schedule, under budget, once disease was conquered. This victory showed something profound. Great engineering projects succeed, not just with steel and dynamite, but with knowledge of nature's hidden mechanisms. The mosquito control program became a model for public health campaigns worldwide, saving countless lives far beyond Panama, proving that public health is the invisible foundation of every bold infrastructure dream. The next time you watch a container ship glide effortlessly through those massive gates or benefit from faster, cheaper goods shipped across the globe, remember the tiny mosquitoes that nearly killed the Panama Canal. You might see concrete and water, but now you know about the invisible war. That was won first. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like the video and subscribe to Hidden Stories of Engineering. Here, history, science, and human decisions collide to reveal the untold foundations of our modern world. And remember, the most important forces are often the ones you can't see. Thanks for watching.